I'd like to thank you for inviting me on the show. It's such an honour to be here, and I'd just like to say that when I'm not playing Xbox with my mate Thor, I really like to listen to my favourite podcast, Pop Culture Pasta. Hey, Doug! Doug! Oh, that's right, Doug's dead.
Pop Culture Pastor.
Okay, Cody. If this were a live award show, we would come on an hour early and we would have like a red carpet show. And the studio here has a red-ish carpet, but it's kind of dirty.
Very dirty.
Hey! Whoa! It's not, I mean, it's just an old carpet.
It is.
It's faded.
It might be older than me, honestly.
But celebrities, we would talk to celebrities as they came in. Like, oh, what are you wearing? I'm wearing a hoodie.
I'd like to think we'd get Michael J. White.
Michael J. White?
I'm going J. It's a strong name.
Oh, all right. Why him? You big fan of the Spawn movie?
I think that's the level of celebs we can get.
I didn't know he was a big karate guy.
Martial arts fighting expert.
Yeah, didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. I've been doing a deep dive here recently. So,
And then what sparked this?
Facebook Reels.
All right. Well, yeah, we would talk to celebrities as they went in, and like when we're preparing for this show, Cody, I find myself dreaming and thinking I would like nothing more than the Pop Culture Pastor Pop Culture Awards, or the PCPPCAs, as they're lovingly called.
Yes.
I would love nothing more than the PCPPCAs to be a real award show. And where everyone would just have fun. And even if you won, you didn't win, you were just happy to be there and to be nominated.
It pretty much would be like Cheers.
And of course, we would be the hosts, and we would have all the fun. And yeah, we'd be light on the roasting.
Maybe.
Although, I'm going to have a monologue here in a few minutes when we start the show for real. And there will be light roasting.
Get roasted.
I don't feel like I'm a very good roaster. I like watching celebrity. I mean, I liked watching the old ones with like Dean Martin.
Before some of our listeners' times.
Yeah, the new ones are kind of mean, I think. They're a little over the edge.
I will say that during the roast of Bob Saget, that Norm Macdonald might have had the best roast ever, because he was reading off 1940s, 1950s jokes and gearing them towards the people that were roasting.
Yeah.
And everyone in the audience is befuddled by what Norm is saying, because it absolutely is very tame compared to what everyone else was doing. That's worth watching. You can Google that one, kids.
I miss Norm.
Me too.
Norm. All right. Well, this is Pop Culture Pastor and the podcast. My name is Dave. Cody is here.
I am.
And it's a very, very special night. And as I'm talking, if this was a real show, we'd have music. It would start building live from the Kodak Theater in downtown Los Angeles. Not down. That's probably real ghetto, but
the Fire Escape Coffee House, located in Chanute, Kansas.
Oh, it'd be so cool if we could do that. That'd be fun. And we could get who would be our biggest celebrity to come? Zach Gilford of Midnight Mass.
Maybe. I'm trying to think now. I really want Gary Busey.
Oh, Busey would be amazing.
Get the Buse.
He'd say crazy stuff, and we'd be like, oh, Gary, you're the life of the party, man. What did he just say? I have no idea.
But I'm here for it.
All right. Well, there's nothing else to do than to just start talking about awards and the year that was in 2024. Basically, this works as a giant review.
It does.
Of our favorite stuff, but we put it in the form of a show. So let's just get going, and it's time for my monologue.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, your host, Dave Rimbold, Pastor Dave. Actually, Chaplain Dave now, but
Tomato.
We're not changing the name. All right, you ready for this?
Yes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, pop culture aficionados, and anyone who thought they were tuning into a Murder, She Wrote podcast, but somehow found themselves in a room full of movie buffs and comic geeks. But some of us like Murder, She Wrote, Cody.
That we do.
Welcome to the Pop Culture Pastor Pop Culture Awards, the PCPPCAs, where we hand out awards that are totally, completely, and unapologetically unimportant. But we promise they're more fun than a 3-hour Scorsese movie. Pause for laughter. Thank you. Now, I know you're all eagerly awaiting the winners, the speeches, and of course, the absolutely vital opinions of two guys who, let's be honest, probably couldn't tell you the difference between a popcorn movie and an art house flick. But don't worry, we've got plenty of highbrow discussion coming your way. It's highbrow, I promise, Cody. I'm wearing a tie. I'm not wearing a tie, but I can say that as long as we're not doing video.
Yes.
But before we get into the big awards, let's talk about 2024 for a second. What a year it's been. That sounded fake. It's so weird. How do they do this? How do they read the scripts for these?
Dramatic pauses and strong emphasis.
We've had our fair share of blockbusters and disappointments, heroes and villains, and of course, a few questionable casting decisions that only the internet could ever love or hate, depending on which way the meme winds blow. But hey, isn't that what keeps us coming back for more? Because we love movies. We love TV. We love all this stuff because we're geeks. One minute we're crying over a Pixar movie. The next minute we're screaming at our screen because James Cameron says he's planning to make 5 more Avatar movies.
No!
For goodness sakes, Jim. Yes, James Cameron. This is the light roasting part. The man who single-handedly turned the ocean into his own personal playground. You know, I do, Cody, admire his ambition. 5 more Avatar movies? I think we all need to remember that this is the same guy who at one point, he thought it would be a good idea to make a Titanic movie about a boat that sinks. Just trust me, he said. It'll work. Well, I mean, it did. But I'm still waiting for those 5 Avatar movies. I'm sure the next one will be just as visually stunning and also 3 hours long. And speaking of legends, can we talk about Marty Scorsese for a minute?
My friend Marty.
Your friend Marty. I mean, the guy's made some of the most iconic films in history, and yet, he's out here complaining about comic book movies? I know, right? Here's a man who made The Irishman, which if you're not careful might actually age you by the time it ends. And yet, thank you for that chuckle. And yet he's like, these comic book movies, they're ruining cinema. Meanwhile, Martin, buddy, how about you throw in a popcorn flick that doesn't feel like it's going to take up half my weekend? We actually love Marty.
TikTok celeb Marty.
Yeah. We love Marty, but your movies are so long, Leo DiCaprio has to find a new girlfriend at the end of each one because she's aged out.
Burn.
Thank you. We need a laugh track. Now, before we get to the real stars of tonight, the winners of the coveted PCPPCAs, let me take a moment to roast someone who's been a key part of this whole operation. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm talking about my co-host, the one, the only, Cody.
Yeah.
Now, Cody's a true professional, as you can tell by the fact that he's probably spent the last 6 months watching random 80s movies just so he could drop some one-off references tonight and claim he's a child of the 80s. Which he's not. Even though he'll say, I was born in 1989, which he was. Technically true. But listen, he's got a knack for pop culture. He really does. In fact, it's so good, I think we found the real reason he's on the show. He's here because, well, he's the only guy I know who thinks DC is better than Marvel. And we need to have a DC correspondent.
Ouch. Roasted.
I don't know how you do it. His superpower is confusion. So let's give it up for Cody, the man, the myth, a walking IMDb trivia page.
Yeah.
But for real, we've got a fantastic night ahead of us. We're here to celebrate the best in pop culture, from movies to TV to video games and music. And tonight, we're going to see who walks away with PCPPCA gold.
I'm rooting for each one of you.
I am too. Not really. Let's get this party started. After all, we've got awards to hand out, debates to be had, maybe a few unforgettable acceptance speeches. There's not going to be any speeches.
That you know of.
Don't. Although I thought Demi Moore's speech at the Golden Globes was wonderful. I thought that was nice.
I didn't watch it.
Don't worry. There will be no thanking the Academy or your dog. Let's kick things off with the first category of the night. And Cody, are you ready?
I am ready.
The first award, the first one, this is the second annual, by the way.
Yes.
So all these awards are the awards from last year. The Blockbuster Video Award for Worst Investment of the Year. Whew. The first nominee, Megalopolis.
That film has the best trailer.
It better have something good. Directed by the legendary Francis Ford Coppola, was set to be a bold and ambitious project. Massive $136 million budget and an all-star cast. Unfortunately, the only thing that seemed to go up was the price tag, because Megalopolis struggled to make any impact at the box office. A meager $4 million on opening weekend. This one was a financial disaster, even for someone of Francis Ford Coppola's stature. And sometimes the price of ambition is a lot higher than anyone expects. And in this case, Megalopolis really proved that. Did you see Megalopolis, Cody?
Nope.
Either did I. Do we need to see it? Would anyone out there recommend we see it?
If someone buys my ticket or pays for the streaming, I might watch it.
Yeah.
That's how I am.
Yeah. Second nominee, Kraven the Hunter. I mean, what was that about? I'm so glad they're done with these, by the way. Sony decided to call it quits after this one. Actually, before it came out. Like the day before, they were like, you know what? We're not doing this anymore. But sometime before that, they decided, you know what the world needs? The least interesting Spider-Man villain to have his own movie. And guess what? It didn't quite hit.
I was really looking forward to the wrestling one. It didn't happen.
With Bad Bunny?
Yes.
This one had promise of being a gritty, action-packed film, but instead you get this movie with a bizarre mix of vigilante justice, an animal-loving hunter, which, okay, and a not very compelling villain. Critics didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and audiences, well, they stayed home. So Cody, here's a question for you. Did Sony play a part in the crash of all comic book movies? Do they have a part in this?
Yes.
Because this was an extraordinarily bad year for comic book movies.
I will say I do think them putting these projects out, whether it's because they were going to lose the characters or they thought that they were going to make money, that when your upper echelon is outside the realm of animated movies, Venom,
Yeah.
and at best, it's an okay film. Not Citizen Kane. It's a good popcorn movie. You just sit back, you laugh, you see some action, you call it a day. But everything else plummets downward.
Yeah. I think the reason Marvel works is because they were all fun. If you're going to make a popcorn movie, it has to be fun. Mm-hmm. And like some of these Sony ones aren't fun. A lot of the Zack Snyder DC movies weren't fun. They were gritty and real. And I think people like that when it's Batman.
We don't need fun here.
There are certain characters where we like gritty and real. Daredevil would be one that comes to mind.
Yes.
But most comic book movies, I think we prefer just popcorn fun. Just my 2 cents. Furiosa, the next nominee.
Ouch.
After the huge success of Fury Road, Cody, expectations for this were sky high. A production budget of $200 million, and fans were hoping for more explosive, high-octane action, which they got. But This movie was supposed to be a blockbuster, but despite all the hype, Furiosa failed to bring in the money in the box office, just $206 million worldwide. While it was visually stunning and had all the elements of a Mad Max film, it doesn't quite manage to capture the magic of its predecessor. What do you think went wrong with this movie?
There was no Mad Max.
Is that a problem?
That might be. Like, I get it that we can do spin-offs, and I actually thought this movie was really good. But, like, Mad Max, like, there's just a weird following of Mad Max people out there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they need side characters to have their own movies.
Yeah. It's sort of the Sony problem, right? When the world is predicated on one guy, Spider-Man, in the case of Sony, and he's the one guy you're not going to put in your films, that seems to be the problem, right? Nothing personal against Anya Taylor-Joy, who, by the way, we both loved. Mm-hmm. We reviewed this movie. Go back and listen to that episode. We loved Furiosa. I thought it was a good movie, but it just didn't have any success, and I think that is the problem. I think IP is all great and fine, but only as it's tied to the characters that we know and love. And I think once you stretch that too far, it's a problem. Cody, do you have any more nominees for the Blockbuster Award for Worst Investment of the Year?
Okay, so
Because I haven't said the winner yet.
According to the Google machine, Gladiator 2
All right.
would have had to make $700 million
Oh my gosh.
with all the advertising and the budget.
That's insanity.
Now it has, as of December 19th worldwide, made $400 million.
That's still $300 million off, Cody.
But
That would qualify for one of the biggest bombs of all time.
And like, it's not official on the 700 break-even point, but that is the rumored amount.
I had no idea it was that bad. 700. What? That's insanity, Cody. Oh, man.
So, like, its initial budget is $310 million for sure.
Wow.
So, at best, it might have made $90 million, but they spent a lot advertising.
So, do you think do you have any more, first of all?
No, I don't.
It's probably between that one and this movie, which I haven't mentioned yet. Joker, Fully Ado.
Oh, I knew it was coming.
This one's a doozy. $200 million budget and all the hype of a sequel to the Oscar-winning Joker. Expectations sky high, and despite the star power of Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix, this one struggles at the box office. Complicated mix of musical numbers and intense drama left audiences scratching their heads. The Joker might be laughing all the way to the bank, but the Warner Brothers, well, not so much. It's probably the biggest comic book flop of all time, at least until Captain America: New Brave World Order, or whatever it's called.
The first Joker movie made just over $1 billion.
Made a billy.
And so this is a drastic decline as far as sequels go.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, I don't know of a sequel that had made $1 billion and then the prequel or first movie made $1 billion and the sequel drops like nearly $1 billion.
Yeah. It's a lot of money. Plus, there was a lot of controversy about the motives behind the guys making it. Who knows whether that's true? I think this one's got to win, even though any other year, I think Gladiator 2 probably wins.
Probably.
But I think the winner is Joker, Fully Ado. It wins. Congratulations. The Blockbuster Video Award for Worst Investment of the Year. It's now time for the Grandpa Award for streaming service with apparently good shows that I refuse to pay for.
Yeah.
First nominee, Peacock.
How dare you?
Wow. Now they don't even have wrestling.
It's still on there.
Is it really?
Yeah.
How does that work? I mean, I wouldn't know because I'm not watching Peacock.
I don't think they've moved completely over yet.
Often overshadowed by giants like Netflix and Disney Plus, Peacock has quietly built a solid lineup of original programming in 2024. One critically acclaimed show, I wanted to look for one show that was critically acclaimed in each one of these networks. Poker Face, created by Ryan Johnson.
Oh, yeah, that was a huge hit.
Yeah, the guy behind Knives Out. It's a fresh Mystery of the Week series starring Natasha Lyonne. I had not heard of this until I started doing my studying. The show has been praised for its clever writing, Lyonne's sharp performance, and its playful nods to classic detective stories. Apparently, it's an underrated gem, Cody.
Also, Psych is on Peacock.
If you want to go into the old shows, and you should always revisit Psych.
Resident Alien.
Okay.
The Office.
But we're talking about a new program.
Resident Alien is still filming.
Okay.
It's still an active series.
Cody is like the #1 Resident Alien fan.
It's hilarious.
Out of 3. HBO Max, another nominee.
How dare you again?
While HBO Max is a powerhouse in terms of legacy content, it often gets overshadowed by some of the other streaming platforms, especially after the Warner Brothers rebranding. Still, its original series continue to receive some accolades. A big one was Succession. That was the big one for that network.
Penguin?
Did you watch Succession?
No, but I watched Penguin.
Okay, Penguin. But Penguin didn't just do numbers.
It did numbers.
It critically was celebrated.
Critically?
And it did win some Golden Globes.
It's because it's quality.
Dude,
and
what do you want me to do? I nominated it. Why are you getting mad? I'm nominated,
and
Max.
Now they have AEW wrestling library. Whoa! Whoa! We're not burning AEW on this show, buddy.
I nominated it.
Okay. Well, just know.
I actually pay for it. I have HBO Max.
I got beef.
Finally, and I think this one's probably the winner, Apple TV. While they're not exactly struggling, they still fly under the radar because they don't come out with the bulk of content like a lot of these do. However, the consistency of the product they put out, everyone knows about Ted Lasso, but it seems like everybody has at least one other show that they really like that not a lot of other people watch.
Soon, on a watch-along near you, will be Severance.
Severance Season 2. We're looking forward to that. So currently I am paying for Apple TV, although I haven't in the past. But I also watched Bad Monkey with Vince Vaughn. It was a great show. People rave about Shrinking.
I still need to watch that.
That one has Jason Segel and Harrison Ford. And, of course, The Morning Show, which was a drama series starring Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon, and Steve Carell. Garnered praise for its portrayal of workplace dynamics. So, yeah. I think that was the winner, Apple Plus. They make good stuff.
I would have suggested whatever network From's on. But quite literally, it's whatever network it is on.
Let's go ahead and do your 2 awards here because we've got time before we take a break. So let's talk about the next award, the For the Love of Ray J Award for most ridiculous person or moment in pop culture. They got a big act to follow up because last year it was Jada Pinkett.
A well-earned victory by my friend Jada.
Jada was putting it down last year. She deserved that award.
Took it in a runaway. Okay, so this year we have quite a few nominees.
We always do.
Yes. Whoever created the trailer for Megalopolis, where it had all the fake quotes about Francis's movies.
I don't know, but they got fired so fast.
That was a quality nomination for The Love of Ray J. the Snyder fans for the hatred of the Superman trailer drop.
Man. Yeah, there's so much complaining, and so much of it is fake.
I should say the Snyder diehards, because there were some people that were like, "Oh, I love both."
If there are three of the biggest bot groups online, okay, one of them are Russian bots who try to stir up United States hate internally.
Geopolitical
Russian bots. People who think the Kansas City Chiefs, the NFL, are in league and cheating, even though the Chiefs are near the bottom on penalties called against them. And apparently, people who just can't wait to trash anything DC puts out after Snyder.
Yep.
And just everywhere. It's like, look, I thought the trailer was good. Not great, good. I had some problems with it. I still think Guy Gardner looked terrible.
He looked comic book accurate.
No, he did not. Quit saying that. He did not.
I sent you the picture.
No. Yeah, you sent me one picture.
And it was spot on.
From like the late 70s.
That's the era we're going for these days.
Man, I hope not. Okay. Next one.
Okay. Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck.
Oh, Bennifer.
Yes.
We were raving about it last year. Now it's over.
Gone too soon.
How do I say goodbye? We need Boys to Men to serenade us with our sadness about Bennifer.
But sadly, there can only be one winner.
Okay, but wait. Don't scream past that. Who do you think's at fault? Let's go unpast her and say, who do you... No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not going to dive into this hot goss.
I respect that they gave it a shot again.
The old college try.
0 for 2. Gosh.
But the winner.
Oh, the winner. Okay.
I'm going with the winner, and I haven't said it yet, but his commentary on historical inaccuracies within his own film and how some people need to get a life. Ridley Scott for Gladiator 2.
And by the way, if you didn't see that award coming, you have not been listening to the pod.
I literally could have given it to him for Napoleon, but I didn't. It's Gladiator 2 this year, buddy.
Ridley Scott, a worthy runner-up from last year's Jada Pinkett Smith Award for the Love of Ray J Award. And yeah, Ridley, I think it wasn't just that he we expect there to be dramatization in a historical period piece movie. But I don't think the dude with the newspaper in Rome,
the sharks in the Colosseum,
all of that was just and Ridley's reaction to it was like, I don't care if you guys don't like it, brah.
Get a life, dweebs.
Oh man, yeah, that was awesome. He's definitely deserving. The John Candy Award, aka For the Lulz.
Yes.
For funny moment or people in pop culture this year. Hit me with your noms.
Okay. Travis Kelce for hosting Saturday Night Live. That's just because I'm a Chiefs fan. He deserved a nomination.
Dude, are the Kelce's best thing to happen to pop culture in the last 10 years?
Sports pop culture for sure.
Yeah, but they blend into pop culture so much.
They do.
So much so that Kylie Kelce started a podcast 3 weeks ago, and it was number one. It beat out Rogan.
We are coming for you, Kylie.
We're probably not. I would love for that to happen, but that's just insane.
It is.
How? Because people love them, Cody.
And my dear friend Travis is going to be in Happy Gilmore 2.
Yeah.
Saw the trailer for it.
I think it's because they're very genuine.
They are.
What you see is what you get, and I think we're in an era. That's why Rogan got big, is because whether you like him or dislike him, you definitely trust that's who he is. And I think there's a genuineness aspect to the Kelseys.
Okay, so my next nom, Nate Bargatze.
Oh, I love Nate Bargatze.
Had a special drop Christmas Day.
Did you watch it?
I did.
I did too.
I laughed.
Delightful.
And also got to host SNL again. Got to do the George Washington skit, the sequel to it.
Maybe the original is maybe the best Saturday Night Live skit in 20 years.
Potentially.
Let me full stop. We've never talked about him on the pod. I love Nate Bargatze. I love him so much. And invitation to be on the pod anytime.
Yep. Next nomination for a film you definitely did not watch.
Probably.
Terrifier 3's
Definitely.
Art the Clown
Did not watch.
a nomination for the John Candy Award just for two scenes in particular. These two scenes, not only did I laugh, but my wife laughed. Okay. And so
that's your clue?
It wasn't just my dark sense of humor. And also, like, a whole theater laughed because, like, the theater was packed, shockingly.
I love that Cody's open enough to be like, I'm twisted. So it's not just when I laugh at something. When I notice my wife laughs, I'm like, oh, that was really funny. Conventionally. We went from Nate Bargatze to Terrifier.
To Art the Clown in Terrifier 3. The two scenes being when Art sees Santa Claus through the window and gets all giddy and excited and then runs in.
That's kind of funny.
Like pushes over a group of girls trying to leave the establishment. I laugh.
I mean, a psychotic clown getting excited to see Santa. That's sort of funny.
It was. And then there's a scene towards the end where Art keeps hitting the hero of the movie as she's tied to a chair. But, like, he just slaps her every time he walks by, and he's constantly walking by. So a little slapstick humor there. But there can only be one winner. And this person made me laugh for the whole year. Like, literally, every week, there was something new that was posted on social media from the WWE.
Oh.
That you weren't ready for a wrestler to win this award, but it is R-Truth. R-Truth was constantly doing it for the lulz. Making people break, confusing wrestlers on purpose that kind of look alike but really don't. Calling these
that's a good bit.
These young guys Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and then calling Triple H and Shawn Michaels the young guys' names. There's this one guy named Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio's son, and he's like, where's Nick? I see Tom, but where's Nick? Because he thinks it's Tom and Nick. It was great. For the lulz, the John Candy Award, it's R-Truth.
All right. Goes to a wrestler this year.
It does.
He gave you the laughs.
He did.
It's a good thing. All right. Before we end up this first little segment and go to our guest, it's time for a very important award. It's called the Fred Rogers Lifetime Achievement Award in Positivity by someone in pop culture. It's very special because I love Fred Rogers. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and he was just the best.
I got compared to Mr. Rogers like a couple weeks ago.
Really?
I did.
By who?
One of the front office staff at one of the schools I work at.
And how did they make that connection?
It wasn't because of the cardigan I was wearing, which I was wearing a cardigan, but
because he takes off his shoes in inappropriate places.
It was because evidently my demeanor is calm and positively reframing all the time.
You know, I've never noticed it, but they're right. You do have a lot in common, demeanor-wise, with Fred Rogers.
And the cardigan game.
He does own a few cardigans.
Yes.
and does take his shoes off in inappropriate places. The Fred Rogers Lifetime Achievement Award this year goes to Gary Sinise.
Yeah.
Yeah! Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump, who's also in Apollo 13, CSI New York, the made-for-TV miniseries based on The Stand. That's probably his best work.
Quite literally, my wife and I just finished rewatching The Stand. One.
How does it hold up? Because that came out in like the late 80s?
Early 90s.
Early 90s?
I think. It's around that time period. For the most part, I think it does fairly well. There's some things like, oh, I would change this, or why is that lady from Just Shoot Me Nadine? I don't know.
She was fine as Nadine.
I don't...
Like, that was your biggest casting question? Not why is Dauber in this?
Nope.
From Coach? Not why is Max Headroom the trash can man?
Nope. Those two castings made perfect sense.
People are like, they have no idea the references I just dropped. Max Headroom.
Patrick Starr is Dauber.
Dauber. Gary Sinise has done a lot for charity through his work with the Gary Sinise Foundation, including, this is the things they do, Cody. They build smart homes, mortgage-free homes for severely wounded veterans and first responders. He does a lot of work with veterans, which is awesome.
He does.
Which, of course he would. He played Lieutenant Dan, who was a wounded veteran in Forrest Gump, and apparently met a lot of these folks when he was preparing to play that role. And so he has a place in his heart for that. The homes they build are customized to the needs of the individual and their family. They provided meals. The foundation serves meals to defenders across the country and overseas. For example, the foundation once asked La Chatelaine French Bakery and Bistro to prepare meals for nursing staff at the Columbus VA in Ohio.
Wow.
They got a special French meal from some highbrow restaurant. The Foundation's Snowball Express program provides a sense of community and hope for children of fallen military and first responder heroes. Sinise has donated his time to play in over 500 support concerts because, he's in a band.
I would listen to his band if they came around.
Him and Keanu's band. Can we get them here?
Keanu's band was close to us within like an hour and a half.
What? Were they playing at a casino?
Yes.
That is amazing to see, like, a box office megastar who's like, I also want to do music and be in a band, and then you have to go perform in casinos like you're, some third-rate Toby Keith. Toby Keith's even like, nah, man, I have the restaurant in the casino. Toby Keith's whatever, I love this bar and grill.
At the Hard Rock Cafe.
Is Toby Keith dead? Did
Yes.
he die? Doggone it. Now I'm sad. Back to Gary Sinise. The foundation has provided emergency relief grants to first responders, essential equipment, funds life-saving mental wellness treatment and training to first responders, and they have hosted something called the Invincible Spirit Festivals since 2012. Gary Sinise does a lot, and frankly, I think embodies what I love to see, and everyone that wins this award should, which is, if you have the means to help, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? And I think it's awesome that Gary Sinise is not like, you notice he like slowed down as far as being in movies and stuff like that too, where he made a lot of money and it was just like, you know what? I like doing these other things that now I can do, which is when I think about being rich, it's mostly so I could do things like this. Give money to any charity I wanted to give it to, or someone, a cause. I always want to give money to causes, but I don't have enough.
That is the issue.
So, Gary Sinise, well-earned Lifetime Achievement Award in positivity and pop culture. Cody, we're going to take a break right now because it's time for some very special awards by a certain geek of the round table who joined us in the first PCPPCAs. That's Jason Geesaman. So, Cody, to the Geek Phone!
To the Geek Phone.
Pop Culture Pastor.
All right, we're back on the Geek Phone for a special section of the Pop Culture Pastor Pop Culture Awards, or as we have lovingly call them, the PCPPCAs. And
it rolls right off the tongue.
It does. And the more you say it, I'm getting better at it. The PCPPCAs. It does. You're right. Rolls right off the tongue. And in order to, what's the word I'm looking for? Affiliate? No, that's not the right word.
No.
Necessitate? No, that's not it. In order to help us
collaborate
with this next segment, we have a geek of the round table, Sir Jason Geesaman. Jason, welcome.
Thank you, Dave and Cody. It's a pleasure to be asked back on the PCPPCA's second annual, I believe.
It is. It is the second annual, and this is the second year you've been here, and you have special awards that came from your imagination that we just thought, okay, well, he has to give those awards out again. So, Jason, let's just go through them and we can talk about it.
Well, first of all, thanks for asking me to do the same ones again, because when you first asked, I was like, oh, I have no idea what my categories would be this year. So that really helped me out because my imagination was stuck in last year. The first award we got tonight from me is the Bert and Lonnie Award. You may remember that this is the Couple of the Year, Celebrity Couple of the Year.
An important award.
It is. It's very important, especially someone like me who just loves celebrity couple gossip and all that wonderful stuff. Was that sarcasm laid on thick enough?
What is the hot goss?
The hot goss. Well, this year we've got some pretty cool, I think, cool nominees. First nominee, maybe you've heard of them, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, who are actually winners from last year.
Mm-hmm.
But they may have had a better year as a celebrity couple this year than they even did last year.
Okay,
that's impressive.
Okay, lay down the case for that.
So not only did she continue her Eras tour, Travis also won another Super Bowl, obviously, with the Chiefs. Her tour has had documentaries made about it because of how much it inflated other countries' economic growth this past year. That's where she's at in this. And obviously she's probably winning multiple awards here in award season for her work in that. But also Travis has not only won the Super Bowl, but he had as you're probably aware, hosted Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity, which we've been watching. I haven't watched all of it yet, but is actually pretty good, and he does a pretty good job on it. He also had a leading role in a TV series this year. I don't remember what the TV shows, but it was
Grotesquerie.
Grotesquerie, that's right. How did I know Cody would know the answer to that question? On top of that, he's also nominated for Walter Payton Man of the Year Award for his obviously for his work in the Kansas City and the Cleveland areas, where Cleveland Heights, where he's from, Kansas City, where he lives and plays, and just do some incredible stuff for kids in those communities. And so that's why I would say they they just built on top of their celebrity. Plus, you admit it, last year when I did this award, there was still that question: are they really in a relationship, or is this all just PR? I think 2 years in, we can say, okay, this is a thing. Like, maybe they're slightly committed.
Yeah, it seems pretty real now.
Yeah.
And now most times when I see them, I'm just like, what's that like? What's life like when you're Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce? I mean, they just can't pop out to a movie, dinner and a movie. That's not a thing for them.
In fact, if I remember correctly, he had to buy a bigger house with more security in Kansas City area when they became a thing, like when they really became official and she started hanging out with him in Kansas City. So it it's changed his life a little bit for sure. And I mean, I'm not a big Swiftie before she became a Chiefs fan, but she does look happier, and her songs seem happier than they were for a little while there. So they're the first nominee for celebrity couple. Second nominee, these names might sound familiar to you. Actually, Travis's brother Jason and Kylie Kelsey, staying in the family for our second nominee.
Yeah.
They Now, Jason retired from football after this last year, and he and Travis obviously have their podcast, which is huge. And he's now a commentator on ESPN Monday Night Countdown, and he has gone on, and he's on like every other commercial you see on TV now, and is just, he's Jason Kelsey's doing a great job with that. Even has his own kind of Tonight Show thing that just started, and so obviously he's doing well. Well, his wife Kylie may actually be doing better than he is, more successful. Oh, I forgot to mention, Jason also had with Stevie Nicks the #1 Christmas song on Billboard chopping charts, beating Mariah Carey who had never been beat in like 50 years. So
that is the weirdest sentence I think anyone's ever uttered, by the way, on this podcast.
In a weird year where lots of weird things happen, it might be the weirdest thing that happened this year.
Yeah.
So
quick question.
Yes.
We did discuss this just very briefly, the Kelseys. What is it about the Kelseys, do you think, that makes them so appealing?
Obviously, they've got charisma. They've got some intelligence, even though they like to play dumb and they may not be the smartest. But they are just likable, and I think they seem like real people. And I think that's because they're born and raised in Cleveland Heights with mom and dad who just worked for a living and just raised them. And I think it's because they seem down to earth, even in their celebrity, even in their fame. And I mean, I think they feel like blue collar people that white collar people can enjoy as well. That's my 30-second diagnosis on that.
I think this is my theory. I led you. I was leading the witness there, Jason.
Okay.
This is my theory. In the social media /influencer /fake news age, we will value sincerity and genuineness over talent. Not that they're not talented, because they're entertaining.
They are.
But they're not professionals.
No.
Yeah.
They're not polished. And in fact, they've had to either apologize or explain things that were said or done, either on their podcast or at games or out in the public. And every time they just...
Yeah. Who's your next nominee?
Well, so Kylie Kelsey included on that because she now has a podcast that just released this past year, the end of the last year, was the first week, I think it was the highest downloaded podcast over Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Only the second time that's happened. Pop Culture Pastor, the first.
Yes, absolutely. Probably last year's PCPPCAs. So, also, it was just announced, I saw this, and I have not confirmed this from Kylie herself, but she's actually being brought on to ESPN to do some commentating for them. I don't know in what aspect that would be. Anyways, third nominee, this might be my favorite one, Meryl Streep and Martin Short.
Oh, I forgot about them.
They're a couple?
Yes,
they're a couple.
I haven't been reading my Inquirer.
I don't know how long they've been a couple, but they are. I remember the first time I saw, I think they were at a release for, I think it might have been Only Murders in the Building, the most recent season. And she was there holding his hand. And I went, what is Meryl Streep doing?
That's adorable.
And
that's adorable.
They are a couple. They're both, I think I read, they're both in their late 70s, early 80s. And they're just happy and enjoying each other's company. And so, if for no other reason than I'm a big Martin Short fan, have loved his comedy and his movies for years, and to see him in a strong relationship with somebody who talent-wise is probably above his pay grade, as much as I love him. But Meryl Streep and Martin Short. And our fourth nominee, this is another weird one. Is Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco.
I have heard of them.
I am shocked.
You have heard of them.
You're shocked what?
I'm shocked by Selena and Benny.
Oh, okay. Who's Benny? I have no idea.
Them or them being nominated.
All the above, honestly.
All the above. Well, I threw it in there because I'm shocked as well, and I think the whole world is shocked. I don't even know who Benny is outside of I've seen his picture a couple times with Selena Gomez. So,
yeah. As a side note, Meryl Streep and Martin Short, we are certified credential holding ministers.
We are
who are able to do weddings.
I tell you, one of my favorite things to do is premarital counseling. So
yeah, and especially suited to do pop culture weddings. So please call us because we can marry you and do the Three Amigos dance
without hesitation.
Yeah, hey!
we could probably even do the My Little Buttercup dance. So
yeah, all the above. All right, so who's the winner?
You know what? I have no idea. You guys would have to pick
you don't pick the winner.
I don't have a winner this year. I want to see what you guys think.
Man, I'm kind of moved by the Martin Short Meryl Streep one.
For me, it's either we repeat from last year because you did make a strong case that they're doing even better, or in the upset we go with the elderly couple. That could be in Cocoon, the remake.
All right. Jason, you're the tiebreaker. Is it going to be Martin Short and Meryl Streep or the Kelsey and Taylor Swift?
Oh, man. I can't believe you guys are doing this to me. They're just such a power couple.
Yep.
Like, maybe next year we're just going to change the name of the award to the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce Award. I've got to go with them again.
All right. I'm just sincerely hoping this doesn't end in a breakup album. That's, I'm really rooting for them. All right. What's the next award?
The WTF What the Feige Award for Marvel's most questionable move of 2024. Now,
they didn't have many.
Marvel didn't have a lot of moves this year, but I think we used to just call this Feige's moves last year. I expanded out to Marvel as a whole because I wanted to include this first nominee, which is more Sony films than Marvel Studio live-action releases this year. We had Madam Web, Venom, The Last Stand, and Kraven versus Echo and Deadpool versus Wolverine.
Yeah. Is that bad?
That
sounds
Sony
bad.
Marvel films in a Spider-Verse that had no Spider-Man.
Wait. You forgot What If Season 3.
No, I said live action.
Oh, live action, yeah. What If Season 3, by the way.
We will get to What If Season 3.
Which they didn't even... Okay, you're going to get to that? Okay, I'll say what I was about to say. Because, they pretended, they put that out on the sly. They barely advertised. I was like, oh, it's out?
Yeah. So that's our first one that Sony Films released more Marvel live action releases this year than the Marvel Studio did themselves.
Yeah, that's bad.
Which I understand why. I know all the reasons behind that. They wanted to, hey, let's just put out some of the stuff we've already got done and let's do kind of a reset here, try to figure some things out. But we had one Marvel Cinematic Universe movie this year.
I got excited that we were going to go to Marvel College there for a second.
Yeah, I wish. But,
all right, next one.
Second nominee in What the Feige, RDJ returns as Doctor Doom and that entire announcement. I don't know how they're going to do it. I'm willing to give some. I'm willing to wait to see if it actually works.
I am a lover of Marvel comics like no other, and if you strip the excitement of Robert Downey Jr. coming back at all, and that they did an announcement at a Comic-Con, if you take that all away and you just buckle it down to the story points, the reaction is, what? Huh? Yeah, I don't know, Jason. I don't know.
Yep. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
But it's at least a questionable move. Our third nominee is now. I need to tell you, when I say MCU audience, I'm talking the entire gambit. Movies that people take their kids to see, TV shows, all that stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
I believe that X-Men 97 and What If were the best releases for the MCU audience this past year. And that's a WTF.
Yep, I agree.
Both
I agree.
animated short comic series.
Yeah, What If should be way better, though. I will say What If should be better.
Now, I do have to put a caveat. I'm in the middle of What If. I have not seen it all the way through. There's been a couple of things I've been like, that's a nice idea, but I'm not sure you really needed a whole episode for that. Then our last nominee is Daredevil versus Wolverine. Promises to be as impactful as Endgame, which was a Feige quote. Now,
did he say that for real?
As much as I enjoyed seeing Wolverine and Deadpool fight, and to see all the cameos and all the Fox universe stuff come into play, as impactful as Endgame?
Nah.
And that was a Feige statement when doing press tours for Deadpool versus Wolverine. I almost went Daredevil, and I went, no, not him.
I was just telling Cody that the farther we get out from Deadpool and Wolverine, the less enamored with it I am. It was funny. It had funny things in it. It had a lot of shout outs and Easter eggs to the fan, but the story was junk. Yep. And it just wasn't that good. In fact, the thing I enjoyed the most had nothing to do with either of those characters. It was Gambit.
Yep.
I'm about to make a name for myself here.
Gambit had a banner year for himself this year between Deadpool versus Wolverine and X-Men 97.
Yeah.
The Gambit love is back, and people finally get to see him be Gambit, which is awesome.
I take it that's the winner? That last one?
I would say probably so.
Yeah. It did not live up to that hype.
Oh, that was a bold statement. And I would need to watch the video to see if I believe Feige believes it himself or if he's just blowing and going.
But I don't think it matters, because at some point, I think this is part of the Marvel problem now, is at some point now, the Deadpool and Wolverine was fine, but they didn't need fine. They needed a knockout because they built it up to be that. The hype is working against them now. And I just don't know how that keeps working.
Yeah, and when you have to have every movie make $1 billion, which is where Marvel has almost found themselves at, you can't have these $300 million movies for these side characters that might be a great movie, but they have put the bar so high, partially because of statements like that it's almost setting up every movie to be a failure.
Yep. All right. I think that's the winner. What's the next category?
All right. PCP Pop Culture Pastor Community Award, the best pop culture connection for myself. Again, this is kind of a vanity award because it's just talking about me and the things I've watched or done with my family that involve pop culture. And so the first nominee is watching X-Men 97 with my wife, Danica. We did not know each other in 97. And we both watched it separately back when the original X-Men cartoon was out. Watched it many times after school and on Saturdays, whenever it was on, and both loved it back then. And so getting to watch X-Men 97 with her and getting to enjoy the Gambit, getting to watch Magneto and all those things, and Rogue and Jubilee, just all those things together, things that we know each other love about X-Men, but getting to share that with her, a new series, a new season, was fun. Our second nominee is playing Madden 25, the mobile game, with my 7-year-old. Now, if you know my 7-year-old, you know that he is destined someday to play contact football because he's the size of a 9-year-old and he is built, right? And has all the energy needed. And so he's starting to get into playing Madden on my phone and laying down with him in the evening to get him calm, and playing Madden with him, taking turns, has been pretty cool this year. The third nominee is a continuation of last year, getting to watch the MCU with my 2 teenage boys. And we are currently on What If Season 1. That means we just finished watching Loki because we're doing it in chronological order, not by release order. And so they loved Loki, and getting to talk about all the things that were involved with that, getting to see them really see the things that they think they know about the MCU and see what's true and what's not, and experiencing that for the first time. So we're continuing that, not as quickly as we'd like, but still doing that. And then our last nominee, this is a new thing that we've started doing because it just came out, is watching Beast Games with all of my kids.
What is Beast Games?
Beast Games,
Mr.
Squid
Beast.
Games. It's Squid Games on Amazon Prime with Mr. Beast instead of. I've never seen Squid Games. So basically, they're playing a bunch of games, and if you lose in the games, you're disqualified. You lose, you're gone. It's not as fatal as Squid
Beast?
Games.
Someone platformed him? That's smart.
Yes.
They take advantage.
And
Amazon makes moves.
It is games that require some skill, but some of the games are like social experiments. Where you put people against each other. They literally did one where it was like watching The Dark Knight, where they had the 2 ships that you could blow up the other ship. And they're asking people to sacrifice themselves for their team, but only one person gets to walk away with the money in the end, right? And so they're giving money for people to leave, and like it's incredible. The first and we haven't finished all of it. It just started releasing right before the first of the year. But my kids are just, I say Beast Games and they all come up, which is pretty incredible because that doesn't even happen when I say dinner anymore, and so.
Well, which one is it? Which one wins? They all sound delightful.
They all have been. Probably, and I didn't mean to do this, but as we're talking through this, probably the last one on this one as well with Beast Games, because it's everybody involved, and they all are excited to do it, and nobody's left out. So probably the Beast Games wins the community award this year.
Yeah. Do you have another award, sir?
I have one last award, and this one, I'll tell you, has a few more nominees. So I'll try to get through them as quickly as possible, but don't be afraid to make me pause and explain anything here.
Okay.
The last award is the spoiler alert for the best movie rumor, true or false. Now, you probably have already understood this about me. Most of my favorite pop culture stuff happens with Marvel, so then that's where most rumors come from. So most of these are Marvel related.
Fantastic.
So
gross.
Yes. First one.
I'm sorry, it's not a rumor that Guy Gardner looks ridiculous.
No, it's not. It's also not a rumor that I love Nathan Fillion, and I am excited to see him as a Green Lantern.
Fair.
Anyways, first nominee, Spider-Man Everywhere. We've got rumors that Spider-Man 4 is happening, that Andrew Garfield may be in Spider-Man 4, that Tobey Maguire may be in Spider-Man 4, and both Avengers movies coming up, obviously, after 2025. There are going to be Spider-Man everywhere over the next few years, and I am here for it as long as those rumors are true. By the way, last time they had this many Spider-Man rumors, they were true. So, just put it out there. The second nominee is
Hold on. Let me comment on that.
Go ahead.
I just have one comment. Are we a little afraid that they cheapen No Way Home if they keep doing this?
No,
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Moving on.
no, not at all. Because they won't keep doing it forever.
Well, right.
It's part of this phase, and then they'll move on. I believe that's my
phase that they
thinking.
don't have a real villain for anymore.
Well, maybe the real villain is RDJ. Not Doctor Doom, not Iron Man. RDJ is the real
It's Robert
villain.
Downey Jr.
It is. Yep. A second nominee is the Fantastic Four mystery actor. Now, this is kind of cheating calling it a rumor because nobody has any idea who it is. There's lots of guesses, but there's very little proof or support for any of them. And I don't know if you've seen this, but they have had an actor being hidden as he goes to the trailers. They've had a post with Pedro Pascal at the rap party where they black out one of the people's faces.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the Fantastic Four mystery actor. Don't know who he is. Don't know what he's playing. Pretty sure it's a guy.
Bob Downey Jr.
What's your favorite? No, it's not Robert Downey Jr.
It's Bob Downey Jr.
It's not Bob Downey Jr.
It's Bobbert.
Now, it's Bobbert. My favorite rumor, or my favorite guess, or educated guess, is that it's Ian Griffith, who played Mr. Fantastic in the two previous Fantastic Four movies, and that somehow, someway, the Council of Reeds is kind of a big deal in this movie, which would be dope.
That would be dope. However, if we're seeing Ian Griffith, we better be seeing some John Krasinski.
Yes, absolutely.
And they have not been hiding a 7-foot guy. He's not quite that tall, but you understand what I'm saying.
But do you remember all the people that were rumored to be Reed that Marvel had talked to? What if it was all of them?
Yeah. What if it was a collection of all these actors?
That would be amazing.
Yep. So you mentioned it's not RDJ. That leads us to our third nominee, RDJ being in every film from now until 2027. Okay, every Marvel
I like to believe it.
From now until 2027. He's rumored to have at least an end credit scene at the end of the Fantastic Four. He's rumored to maybe show up at some point in Captain America and Thunderbolts and in Spider-Man 4. In whatever movie they talk about, was RDJ is going to be there as Dr. Doom. It's almost like X-Men all over again.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a fun time, by the way. And they do have to start
building him as the big bad.
I think they're already behind schedule.
They're already way behind schedule.
We were getting Thanos nuggets for 10 years.
But it has to make sense in each of these movies for them to do something like that.
Yeah, they better start doing something.
Yeah. So the fourth nominee is Chris Evans playing multiple characters in the Avengers movies. That includes, he's been rumored to be playing Captain America and Steve Rogers, but also the Human Torch, which obviously is a possibility, but also playing Nomad. And so he could be one of those. We know he's going to be in it. Could be one of them. He could be all of them.
What about Hydra
He
Cap?
could be none of them. Could be Hydra Cap. We just don't know. But there's also the rumor that he could play multiple different characters.
By the way, they announced
Avengers movies.
They announced he's definitely in.
Yes,
that's confirmed. It's just what he's doing is not confirmed.
I believe he actually confirmed it as well.
So not only Chris Evans, but Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson has been all but confirmed, and basically the rumors are that they're playing multiple characters. Mm-hmm. So they're really going to lean hard into the multiverse stuff. And Secret Wars, if you know the story of Secret Wars, it makes sense. But this is going to be wild.
You know, what I saw today is that Miss Elizabeth Olsen is also on the cast list from the official UK Here's What We're Shooting document that Marvel Studios had to submit to the UK Film Board or whatever.
For which movie?
For it would be for Secret Wars. No, for Doomsday. The
Doomsday,
first one, for sure, because that will be starting filming in March, I believe it said.
They're putting the band back together. Cody
The
has
whole
a very
bit.
cynical look over here.
Also
I do.
listed every Thunderbolt, every Captain America character, all of them.
I have a feeling capitalist Cody has thoughts.
Cash grab.
Well, they did already say there's going to be at least 60 characters from the MCU back for these Avengers films. So,
All right.
anyways, all right. So, this next rumor, I don't know if you guys heard this. There's rumor that when Feige does eventually put out his first X-Men movie in the MCU, that there will be no Wolverine.
Oh,
Did you
that's
guys hear
good.
that one?
yeah.
Yeah, building up some of the other characters before introducing Wolverine. Now, obviously, Wolverine's already been in the MCU with Deadpool versus Wolverine,
But not the
but I thought that was
616
an
Wolverine.
interesting. Nope, thought that was an interesting rumor. That
And he
doesn't
does
mean
not end up in the
Wolverine
616.
doesn't mean Wolverine might not be in one of those Avengers Secret War movies, but that he won't be in the first MCU X-Men movie. So, again, these are rumors. Next nominee is that the MCU will be built around Spider-Man, possibly as the anchor being, which was introduced in Deadpool vs. Wolverine, which might be impactful, like Feige said, that he will be the central character through Secret Wars, and that Miss Marvel will take over that role in the next phase.
What role?
The anchor
role
beam.
of the anchor being, or who the MCU is built around.
Oh. Are we for that? Is that one we want? Is that what we want?
I felt like maybe we should have done Spider-Man like from the beginning, but Captain worked.
I like Miss Marvel and all. She's charming, but that's quite the trade down to go from Spider-Man to Miss Marvel. No offense.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
All right.
And then the last nominee, the DCU, which I cannot actually find any rumors for. Everything I've seen is confirmed news. Either it is happening or it isn't. Either Gunn has confirmed it or it's not happening. So I don't know if you got any rumors for us, Cody.
Rumor is there may be a DCU Marvel crossover at some point, like in the comics. That there
is
will
true.
be,
that is a rumor I
In the
have
comics.
heard.
that
It's
there will
pretty
be
quickly
trading.
debunked at the time, but that doesn't mean it won't happen.
Yes.
It's happened before.
My dear friend Jimmy Gunn used to work at Marvel. Shockingly.
Seemed to be well thought of too. So
Yes.
All right. Who wins that? What's the rumor that wins that, by the way?
I don't. What do you guys think?
I do find the rumor about the mysterious guy in the Fantastic Four set photos in the celebration after the last day of filming. I dig that rumor.
The rumor that I was most happy with was the X-Men won't have Wolverine at the beginning.
Wow.
Yeah, I dig that one too. Let's go with that one. No Wolverine.
I think as all three of us love the Wolverine character and want to see him done well and appreciate what they've done with him in the movies for the most part. I think that's probably the winner. The reason I don't think the mystery actor can work is because that could just be a one-day shoot cameo and have no effect on anything at all, including that movie, as we've seen them do before.
It's Bruce Campbell.
All right, Jason. Thanks for bringing us down.
This isn't a Sam Raimi. It's not a Sam Raimi flick.
Thanks for killing the vibe.
Well, it could be awesome.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much, Jason Geesaman, Geek of the Round Table, bringing his special awards to the PCPPCAs.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Talk to you
We'll
later.
see you next time. All right, we are back off the Geek phone with Geek Jason.
I had to dust the Geek phone because it felt like we hadn't used it in so long.
Oh man, yeah. I'll give it a little lemon pledge.
Yes.
All right, we got to go through these faster. This is our speed round of awards.
Rapid fire.
They pulled a Jesus Award. Do we have a winner for the most hopeful or loving moment through sacrifice in pop culture this year?
It depends. I would go Dune Part 2, Paul Atreides, or as my friend Javier Bardem calls him, Lisan al-Gaib.
What was that?
Yeah! Lisan al-Gaib. He's just constantly yelling that. But quite literally, he's a Jesus-like figure and is bringing hope to this planetary system that is getting demolished by Dave Bautista and Elvis.
Yeah. He's got a name, bro. It's
Austin Butler.
It's Austin something or other.
Yes. And also Stellan Skarsgård is trying to destroy it as well.
Yeah. One of these days I'll watch Dune, but I've got too much PTSD from the 80s version.
They're lengthy, but they're good.
The Thor Love and Thunder for most divisive movie or TV show. We got a lot of these.
Okay, so I'll run through my list real quick.
Yeah.
Longlegs, very divisive in the horror community. Cuckoo, which was also another scary film. Gladiator 2. Some people really loved it. Some people really hated it.
I still don't understand.
Yeah, I'm baffled.
But I think it's if you're under a certain age where the first Gladiator was not that special of a movie for you. You
Yes.
were more inclined to enjoy
or
Gladiator
you
2.
haven't watched the first Gladiator in 100 years. Salem's Lot, the remake. There were some huge fans of it, and there were some people that are like, how dare you touch this beloved property? And I'm like, was it beloved?
Yeah. Well, yeah, Salem's Lot. They made a movie about that maybe in the 80s?
Yep.
And nobody remembers it, obviously. Late Night with the Devil was a horror mockumentary set in the 1970s.
Loved it.
Brought a fresh twist to the found footage genre.
Yes.
However, the use of AI-generated art for brief little they transitions.
They were graphics like you would see on a late night show when they're exiting out or coming in.
Yeah. So that sparked a heated debate. While some praised its innovative approach, others felt the AI inclusion was a step too far, that we were coming out of the strike. So that was a hot button issue.
That makes more sense.
The next nominee, Civil War. Directed by Alex Garland, this film presented a near-future America on the brink of civil war. While some lauded its gritty realism and political commentary, a lot of people criticized it for its perceived apolitical stance. In a hot-button charge time, Cody, nothing worse than sitting on the fence, right?
Yep.
People did not like it for that. They wanted it to be their particular brand of political snuff film.
Not about that.
Madam Web.
Her web connects us all.
Superhero origin story featuring Dakota Johnson aimed to expand the Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man. Despite a promising premise, was it? The film received mixed reviews. Some people did appreciate the unique take on the genre.
I loved the memes. I'll be honest.
While others felt it lacked depth and excitement expected from a superhero film. Notably, Madam Web is the only major superhero film from 2024 deemed ineligible for a Best Picture Oscar nomination. Have you heard of this?
I didn't know that they could deem a film ineligible if a film was made.
Okay, this is crazy. Because I did a deep dive into this because I needed to know more about this. And we should probably do a whole episode about this at some point. But according to the Wrap, of the 323 movies eligible to be nominated at the Oscars, 116 of them out of 323 are not permitted to be considered for Best Picture. Why?
No one has time to watch 300 movies.
It's not entirely clear. Here's what you need in order to be eligible for consideration. Feature films must open in a commercial motion picture theater in at least one of 6 U.S. metropolitan areas.
It did that.
And complete a minimum qualifying run of 7 consecutive days in the same venue. Feature films must have a running time of more than 40 minutes. So
all those.
Here's the rumor. Obviously, Madam Web fits the bills for all those. Here's the one that's called the RAISE rule. Representation and Inclusion Standards, which, as the Wrap explains, is require Best Picture candidates to meet additional benchmarks for diversity and inclusion. And apparently, Madam Web did not meet those, along with other notable movies like Bird, Woman of the Year, Bad Boys Ride or Die, and Mean Girls.
So I'm now confused just because I would think primarily female cast that had multiple ethnicities.
But how many people work on a movie? It's tons.
So I'm just baffled. This feels like a hit job against a Sony classic.
Don't bury the lead. One day we're going to look back and realize how Bad Boys Ride or Die got jobbed from winning Best Picture. The last nominee, and I think probably the winner for most divisive movie, Roadhouse, a remake of the 1989 classic.
Was there people that liked it besides my wife?
Some people did. But again, I think it's the same thing as Gladiator 2. Like, you didn't love the original and grow up with it.
So for my wife, it was, if you renamed this Bar Time at the Florida Keys, it's a good movie.
Well, additionally, there was a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff going on, too. Original screenwriter filed a lawsuit against Amazon Studios and Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studios, alleging copyright infringement and unauthorized use of AI to replicate actors from the first one.
Oh, how dare you.
Replicate voices. And the director, Doug Liman, himself boycotted the South by Southwest premiere due to Amazon's refusal to release it in theaters. So he was mad at his own, movie makers.
Okay. Well, that does sound like a winner then.
Yeah. Roadhouse was pretty divisive, at least internally in its own movie. So we're going to go with that one. The next award, the What's Up Doc Award for Best Documentary. Cody, give us some nominees.
So, first nominee, Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. About the most well-known Superman figure, I feel.
That's fair. Yep.
Christopher Reeves.
Great story, by the way. I need to watch that doc.
Yes, it's on Max. American Nightmare, which we both watched, and I had blocked it out.
We did a What's Up doc on it early in 2024 about the real-life Gone Girl.
Yes, the real-life Gone Girl.
Except it was nothing like that.
Nothing like that hit movie. Seeking Mavis Beacon. I haven't watched it yet. I just learned of it, but as I was preparing for this award show, because that's what I do, I go all in my in-depth preparation. This documentary is supposed to be one of the top 10 or so docs of 2024. And if you, like me, grew up learning how to type on your PC from Mavis Beacon, you might be intrigued by this story. But the one that I think we both will agree is the winner, and we did a What's Up doc on it. Bray Wyatt, Becoming Immortal, found on Peacock, by the way.
Yeah. Pays tribute to late WWE superstar Bray Wyatt. I would say you don't have to be a WWE fan. I haven't watched wrestling in years, and I watched this documentary and was absolutely riveted. Wonderful, wonderful documentary, and really proves that WWE is capable of much more, like the storytelling aspect of what they did with this, where we knew he was gone by the time this comes out. He's passed away. Mm-hmm. And it's really heartfelt, really highlights the talent in these guys, that this isn't just a bunch of, steroid popping, muscle dudes. Like, they're behind a lot of the story. Narrated by Mark Calloway, a.k.a. The Undertaker.
Yes.
And features interviews with family, friends, fellow wrestlers, and critics have praised it 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Can you believe that?
I can, and there may have been a tear or two watching.
It's a good crier. The Name It and Claim It Underdog of the Year award. Someone unexpected who blew up last year one of our most beloved pop culture icons, Ki Hai Kwan, won this award. Who are the nominees this year?
So I have the horror genre, because last year was literally the year of scary movies making bank, with Terrifier 3 being the most financially productive movie of the year, grossing 45 times the cost of the movie. And then I will go with Kiernan Shipka. And you might be like, who is that, Cody?
Who is that, Cody?
I'm glad you asked. So she was in Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, the Netflix one. But, okay, so this year, she was in Longlegs for about 5 minutes, but the 5 minutes were like the most memorable, I would say. She was in Twisters at the very beginning of the movie. She's part of the crew that dies.
Oh, no. I know who we're talking about.
Yes. She is also in the new Christmas classic Red One.
That's a stretch, but yes.
And also had another movie come out this year called Sweethearts. And so she has been in a lot of things and very memorable in Longlegs and Twisters. And
maybe someday she'll make it through an entire movie.
Maybe.
We're rooting for you. Other nominees include Oasis, the iconic British
band?
rock band. Yeah. They're reuniting. Now, the tour doesn't start until this year, 2025. But the fact that they were just talking and getting along, big deal for the Gallagher brothers.
Who don't get along.
Just nominated. They're not going to win because they haven't done anything yet. But it's exciting enough to be like, oh, we might get a Wonderwall reunion. Lindsay Lohan, once a tabloid fixture, she's orchestrated a remarkable comeback in 2024. She starred in 2 of the Netflix Hallmarky Christmas romantic things, both of which garnered significant viewership because that's a thing that happens now.
Yep.
Additionally, she reunited with Jamie Lee Curtis to film a sequel to their famous movie Freakier Friday, set for release in 2025. Some people are dubbing her resurgence as the Loanaissance.
And I'm here for it, buddy.
And good for her. I am happy for her because child stars that go her direction don't usually get a comeback, and so that's good. And she seems well adjusted.
Yes.
I mean, have we checked in on Amanda Bynes lately? Because that's not going as well.
She is having a bit of a comeback as well.
Okay. And I think, here's the winner. I think she's got to be the winner, especially in light of this week's events. I'm going to go with Demi Moore. Demi Moore, after an entire career of what she calls being a popcorn actress, won her first award after 45 plus years in acting. She won a Golden Globe for her performance in The Substance.
Still need to watch that.
Yeah, I hear it's disturbing, which is a pretty good way to make me not watch a movie. But yeah, I watched her. I didn't watch all the Golden Globes, but I caught her acceptance speech, and I thought, that's really awesome. I think she should do a sequel with John Cusack to One Crazy Summer right now. And, of course, Bobcat Goldthwait.
They're all still around.
So Demi Moore, she's the winner of the Name It and Claim It Award. The Take One for the Team Award for Best Acting Performance in a Christian Studio Movie.
I think we're in the same movie.
Yeah, I have Judy Greer. When you think of Judy Greer, you might imagine her in comedies, dramatic roles. But in the best Christmas pageant ever, she brings something really special as the frazzled yet determined mother trying to put on the annual church pageant amidst all of the chaos. She absolutely shined in this movie. Her performance is both heartfelt and hilarious, managing to kind of balance all of that in the weight of the movie, the comedy and the emotional weight. And I think it's kind of a new holiday classic for me. It had all the feels that a Christmas movie should have, and she was just kind of the driver of the vehicle for that movie. Although your nominee,
I'm going with an unsung hero of the movie that definitely brings some stability and just quiet messages throughout being a good dad. Pete Holmes, who is a comedian.
By trade, a comedian.
Yes, and also does some funny Batman bits. But he was more serious in this. He was the voice of, you don't know what people are going through. And you gotta be helpful and put yourself in other shoes and all those sage things. And he knows how to make a TV dinner in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a big deal in the 80s. You know who the winner is? We are, Cody.
Yeah.
Christians. We're the winner because it wasn't enough that we got Biebs. We got Bieber. Now we got Judy Greer and Pete Holmes. Look at us.
And Denzel.
And I forgot about Denzel, but he got baptized.
Yes.
Where it's a good time. Good time to be a Christian. Time for our most prestigious award, the Marty Award for Best Cinema. These are what we think were the most well-done movies of the year that we saw.
Yes.
You saw Nosferatu.
I did.
Tell
oh
us
my
about
goodness. So it was amazing, and especially since I had not watched the trailer for this one. I go in cold. I know it's a Robert Eggers film. He did a phenomenal job with all the other ones that I've seen from him. And I know the story of Nosferatu. But if you're familiar with the story of Nosferatu, it's a modern, well, it's just in color, but it has lines. It's not silent black and white like the OG, but tremendous cast, including Bill Skarsgård as Count Orlok, Lily Rose Depp as Ellen, Nicholas Hoult as Thomas Hutter, and honestly, his performance in this gave me hope for him as Lex in the new Superman movie. Aaron Taylor Johnson doesn't take away from it too much. And Willem Dafoe steals the show. And I'm like, I didn't know I needed you as a German professor, but here we are. Mm-hmm. And evidently I did. Ralph Ineson did a great job as well. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that. So
now, is it the same story as Last Voyage of the Demeter or no?
No.
Okay.
Although there is a time where Count Orlok is being his body's out on sea, but
okay. And the second nomination for the Marty Award, Wild Robot, based on the best-selling novel. Wild Robot takes you into a world where technology and nature collide.
I believe you're thinking of Wall-E.
No, my wife and I just read this book to our 6-year-old, and they love the movie. It's a beautiful animated film, tells the story of Roz, a robot stranded on an island who learns to survive and adapt in the wilderness. It's got great animation, a very thoughtful story. It's so thoughtful, and underlying themes of environmentalism and artificial intelligence, all that's going on here. Wild Robot captured hearts and minds alike of the people that saw it. I don't think it did huge business at the box office, but people that saw it will talk about it, and it's just really, really good. And a poignant exploration of our relationship with technology. That's not my quote. Someone else said that.
Oh, I was going to say, you are very articulate about this film.
I think it's destined to be a cult classic a la The Iron Giant, as an animated movie featuring a robot that you are definitely going to cry at watching.
I don't need those in my life. I've seen Wall-E.
The last nominee, of course, goes to Wicked, the highly anticipated film. Or did you have another one?
Oh, I had two more.
Oh, you have two more? Okay. Wicked, obviously an adaptation of the beloved Broadway musical. It exceeded all expectations, really, and has become iconic almost immediately as probably the form. Like, Broadway show's all right and nice and all, but man, people are crazy about the movie.
Did not win Musical of the Year, though.
Yeah, that was wild. That I saw a clip of what did, and I'm just like, oh, guys, what are we doing?
If you have seen French foreign films and their musicals, you would get it, Dave.
What are your other two nominations that are? What are your other two movies that are losing to Wicked?
So they're both movies you haven't seen and won't see.
How dare you?
Late Night with the Devil.
I probably won't see that.
Because, like, for the first half of it, it feels like you're watching a late night talk show, like Johnny Carson style.
Okay.
And it's very period accurate. And the acting in it's phenomenal. And then it takes this supernatural twist. And usually it, like, the supernatural twist can take you out of a movie because it's kind of done hokey, but this one isn't done hokey, and it's a good quality, maybe the best mockumentary I've ever seen, honestly.
Also, what's the best supernatural twist ever in a movie, and why is it From Dusk Till Dawn?
That's in the running. It's in the running.
All right, next nominee.
And then the last one, and if anything, it's just because it continues the cage science that we are in. Long Legs. Oh my goodness. So, like, this movie, it's like a buddy cop film for a little bit, and then true crime, like you're trying to solve this, and then it takes a supernatural twist, and Nicolas Cage is just super creepy in it. And I'm like, I need more creepy Cage. Give me the creepy Cage.
I will allow you to unseat Wicked if you think one of those other movies deserves the Cinema Award.
So, cinema, it would have to be Nosferatu.
Okay.
Like,
I haven't seen
the
it, so I can't say.
cinematography alone in this, like, you can't take away from Eggers. Like, this is masterfully done. There's a couple moments that really, like, if you removed them, probably wouldn't be so jumpy, but, like, because of the way he builds it and the way he frames it, I jumped, and I usually don't jump at these. Like, I'm as cool as a cucumber. But no, this film, the acting, the cast, now the subject matter you might not like, and that I can see. But you could also say that with Wicked.
That's true.
That you don't like the subject matter. But both films are quality, and I think either or would be a good representation.
I'm going to take your word for it, and we're going to say Nosferatu's the winner. And that can be our little upset. Just like, you know, the Golden Globes giving the best musical out to some weird musical instead of the one that was clearly and obviously the best one. So it's just a tough week for Wicked. Although, here's the good news. We have 3 fan vote awards to give out that will come out the next day after this pod drops in the community group for y'all to vote on, and Wicked will most assuredly be a part of some of those categories.
You're welcome.
So Wicked can still win some awards here at the PCPPCAs.
I'm rooting for them.
Thank you so much for listening to our second annual Pop Culture Pastor Pop Culture Awards. Tell us what we got wrong. Tell us what you liked. And don't forget to vote and join you have to join the Pop Culture Pastor community group on Facebook to do that. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Pop Culture Pastor. Pop Culture Pastor. Pop Culture Pastor.